Hi there, and thank you for joining us, and welcome to the next session for Global Partnerships Day. I'm Carys Roche, Customer Success Team Lead at Partnerize, and I'm super excited to be here today to moderate our panel, which looks to bring together industry-leading brands to discuss how partnership has been unearthed as a hidden gem for marketeers in 2021. I'm delighted to be joined today by some fantastic individuals representing their respective brands. So let's quickly go through some introductions. First up, we have Hannah, Growth Manager, Alternative Media at Newman. Delighted to have you with us, Hannah. Do you want to give us a bit of background on yourself and your role at Newman?
Yeah, so Newman is an online men's healthcare company. So we offer over-the-counter and prescription-based treatments on a subscription service, which is a bit of a mouthful. And then prior to this, so through the worst of the pandemic, I was the affiliate marketing manager at Treatwell.
Fabulous. Thanks, Hannah. Next, we have Madara, Head of Partnership Marketing at Smartbox Group, which includes the brands Buy a Gift and Red Letter Days. I'm sure a lot of our audience would like one of those sometime soon. Lovely to see you, Madara. I'll pass over to you to provide the audience with some details about your experience and role at Smartbox.
Hi everyone. So yeah, I'm Madara, and I represent UK's leading experience gift company, and I'm the head of partnerships marketing team and managing affiliate and partnerships channels. And I have been with the company for nearly 9 years, mainly focusing on developing the affiliate channel as it is today, and also our specialist in-house team.
Thank you. And finally, last but certainly not least, we have Sophie, Senior Manager, Strategic Initiatives at Expedia Group, joining our panel today. It'd be great to hear a bit more about you and your experience working at Expedia before we kick off.
Yeah, so I've been with Expedia Group for nearly 5 years. I'm currently in the Partnership Enablement and Strategy team, which was formed late 2020. Looking at strategic initiatives across our different brands, which include Brand Expedia, Hotels.com, and Verbo, as well as some others in different markets. And prior to that, I was looking after partnerships for the UK for Brand Expedia.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sophie. So diving straight in, let's get on with some questions. First question. Given the upheaval of the past year and acceleration of e-commerce, how do you perceive the performance marketing industry is changing and growing? So I'm probably going to flip that over to Hannah, because I think from a retail perspective, we've definitely seen some huge changes there.
Yeah, so it's difficult really to talk about what's gone on at Newman. We're a really young company. We've only actually been trading for 2 years, so it's hard to know kind of what about uplift is just natural with us being a new brand on site and what has come out of the pandemic. But I do think quite a lot of it has come out of people want to avoid seeing their GPs, they want to avoid going to the pharmacy. So I think offering that at-home solution has definitely been really appealing for the last year.
Fantastic, great. Anything you'd want to add to that, Sophie, from a travel perspective?
Yeah, I think that the key is just this shift to online lifestyle. So obviously, even if I step outside the travel sector, which needless to say has been hard hit by the pandemic, and considering the sector as a whole, performance marketing sector, it has really brought that shift to online much quicker than anyone anticipated. And I think even as we start to enjoy the size of normal life, I don't think we're going to see that change. What's been nice as well is to see the partnerships model in particular evolve and bring on new pools of consumers that perhaps were not online before and perhaps wouldn't have been for some time. So one example of that, a simple one, is the restaurants partnering with the likes of Uber Eats and Deliveroo and those local equivalents to make sure that they could still drive business by serving people meals in their home. So these types of customers that have come online and are living that more online lifestyle means that we've really seen that shift that's not going to go away, and we need to offer a proposition accordingly.
I completely agree. I mean, my Deliveroo account has been absolutely hammered throughout lockdown, so I can preach to that.
Yeah. Same here.
So jumping on to our next question, of everything that's changed and evolved in performance marketing, What do you guys feel has had the most impact on the industry? So Madara, I'm going to actually pass over to you first for that one.
Yes, so what is exciting for me is to see how the publisher landscape is changing. Normally we see like a handful of top affiliates dominating the channel, but now more and more new affiliates are joining the game and making their mark with their unique offerings and niche audiences. I also think that there's huge influx of new customers that we can talk to, and a lot of customers are becoming savvier online, and also hold brands accountable to about important political and environmental issues. So brands need to carefully choose their tactics, how to talk to the customers, and how to offer the best value to the customer.
I think that's super interesting, especially what you said about the environmental aspect. I think sustainability is becoming such a huge topic, isn't it? So, if you have got that edge, you're definitely going to tap into that sort of customer base. I think that's really interesting. Anything to add to that, Sophie, on terms of like how it's been evolving? I know, hate to say it, but we've probably been in the industry a while, so showing our age there. But yeah, how do you kind of see things changing and evolving?
Yes, similar to what Madara said. So both the previous question that we discussed, so that shift to online, and then how we look after those customers that are online, we need to perhaps alter our proposition. I definitely think simplicity is key. Obviously, the past 12 months working with travelers who were at some stages panicked. We had, sorry to use the word unprecedented, but an unprecedented wave of cancellations. Making sure that we look after these customers and ensure that they have a simple and a reassured journey. And similar to sustainability, actually, in terms of the values, so not just a sustainability value, but the values of our partners and the values of advertisers are becoming more important. I think everyone's had an opportunity to step back and assess what's been important. And I think pulling values and ensuring that we're working with like-minded companies and like-minded partners in the interest of our customers has never been more prominent or more important.
Nice, good insight. Okay, cool. So moving on, as online-only businesses, and I'm sure the audience would be really interested to learn more about the effects of the pandemic has had on your overall business, and whether you've leveraged the partnership channel more or less, maybe, in different ways during this time. So I think I'm going to go to Hannah first.
So yeah, I've had two completely opposing experiences of this, having to leave my job as a result of the pandemic. So obviously working at Treatwell, we were quite badly affected with salons being being closed. So yeah, we really struggled with that. We had to switch all of our performance marketing off for the B2C side of the business. So I think it did push them to take a step back and really focus on the product and making sure that when they went back to market, that the product was better than it was before. So although it was a really difficult time, and sadly a lot of people did have to leave the business, I do think that they will come out stronger for it. So that's really exciting. And then, like I said, with Newman, it's difficult to know how much of the success that we've had in the last year has come out of us being a young business and how much has come out of the pandemic. But I think generally it has had a really positive effect. I think, some of the treatments that we offer are things that people maybe hadn't given too much thought to before. So being at home, it has kind of forced them to think about, with men tackling their hair loss. I think a lot of people have spent a lot more time looking at their face for the last year on video calls. So it has kind of triggered an increase in kind of cosmetic treatments. And then also, with our kind of sexual health area that we support as well, I think that's kind of people have been home a lot more, so looked at their relationships a lot more. So I think that's definitely helped us. But in terms of our marketing that we've done, we've just been growing so much. We've gone from a team of 12 last March when everyone went home to a team of about 70 now. So
crikey, that is some growth.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think this is a really interesting question, so I'm going to actually open it up to all panelists. So Sophie, was there anything, I mean, I suppose from an Expedia perspective, you guys have got such a vast product offering, don't you? So it'd be great to hear like how the kind of partnerships worked in that way.
Yeah, so if we go back to March 2020, when I definitely naively wasn't quite aware of the gravity or the longevity of this situation, but from the offset, we had to ensure that we were working responsibly. So in the best interest of travellers that had booked through our retail sites, via our partners or other channels. As we all know, lockdowns and the guidance for travel varied from country to country, and it moved at different times. So we had to take a global approach, but ensure that we were leveraging our local expertise to make sure that we were relevant and helpful to travellers in particular geographies. So very soon after March, actually, a tiered approach was taken. There's a 4-tier approach to track, I guess, from crisis phase to recovery in the context of the pandemic. And this was taken across markets to make sure that our activities and our actions and our on-site messaging was taken at the right time according to that situation in the particular region. As I alluded to as well just before, the overarching goal initially, and that's kind of prevailed, was to reassure our travellers that we were here to help as much as we could. Promotional messaging, perhaps for the first time, definitely was a first for me, was largely irrelevant across the globe, and as well as being irrelevant, it was irresponsible to launch campaigns or sales or push any kind of promotional messaging. So we pivoted much of our messaging on our own site and on the sites of our partners to focus on flexible travel options for customers who still had need to travel, which there were pools of customers that still had need. And then we also formed cross-channel squads across different markets to ensure that all the channels, including partnerships, were aligned in supporting this approach. They actually remain in place today, and I think they will remain in place beyond the pandemic. They bring alignment to our activities across the channel, and they maintain a local edge as well. So just to go back as well to the first wave, when we saw the spike in cancellations to begin with, when there was a lot more uncertainty around how it would play out. We had to take steps to ensure that we were appropriately reconciling those bookings, which obviously has implications for our partner channel. And what we wanted to be really clear on is that we were instilling and sustaining that confidence that our partners had in our processes, and also protecting our suppliers on the other side, so the hoteliers, airlines, and so forth. So that was one of the key bits.
Nice. It sounds like Expedia were very quick off the mark. That sounds fantastic. Anything you want to add to that, Madara, from a Smartbox perspective?
Yes, we had a very similar experience to what Sophie just described, because in a normal year, partnerships channel is very important, and it drives quarter of all our online sales. And then suddenly, when the pandemic hits, then we reevaluated what needs to happen, and affiliate activity usually is relatively expensive to run. But what we took that moment to reevaluate our approach, and also stay true to our core value for the business, which is delivering happiness, amazing people, and we put the customer in the center of it. So what we did was we extended our voucher validity to a market-leading level up to 24 months. We also offered free voucher extensions and offered also refunds for the vouchers past our 60-day refund policy, because we knew that money for the customer could be very important during this sensitive time. And then we used the publisher platforms to reinforce this messaging and to provide confidence to our customers to keep purchasing. When things will open up, our vouchers are valid for 2 years, we will get there. So, and that kind of kept the positive message going. And I also wanted to mention that we kept we honored our commitments with our affiliate partners. So we didn't cut the budgets. We ran many campaigns that were also not profitable for us, but we knew that this respect will go both ways. And when affiliates were able to, they helped us to recover as soon as it was possible. And one interesting campaign that we ran last year was with the healthcare discounts, and we gave away all our margin in a form of a discount to key workers as our own way to say thank you.
That's great. I think you're right there in terms of like the shared respect and how you can kind of really kind of keep those relationships going, even if there is no kind of monetary element for that moment in time. I think, we're all human at the end of the day, aren't we? Next question, I'm going to move on to what we're calling non-traditional partners. I don't know if everyone would agree with that statement, but how are you guys growing together innovatively with those non-traditional partners? And when I say that, I mean partners like influencers, whether you're doing any branding, that sort of thing. I'm going to go to Madara first, actually.
Yes, so influencers are a relatively untapped publisher group for our affiliate channel, but we use influencers for enhancing our PR campaigns and getting our seasonal message across. But the way we see these not traditional partners in our team, we really focus on content niche and social affiliates because we see the value in them bringing awareness to our brand and how we believe that they should be rewarded for their efforts. And often within affiliate space, they lose out on the last click model. And that's why we have introduced many ways to reward them for driving the first click in the purchase funnel. And we have also a dedicated team who houses content affiliates and offer them a lot of support because we see the value and not just on last click basis.
Nice. So it's kind of like a team effort across different teams in Smartbox. Nice to hear. How about you, Hannah? Do Newman do much in kind of influencer space?
Yeah, so we're testing influencers at the moment. We are doing it on a flat fee basis so that we can understand what the path to conversion looks like if we wanted to move to a CPA model in the future, which is our objective, but we don't know for sure that that's going to be mutually beneficial. So we are doing it on a flat fee to start with so that we can see what it looks like and then build a model based off the back of that. We did actually have an offline campaign that we did. So we did some print on a CPA model, which the partner had never done before. So we agreed to CPA. It would be on a last click or on a QR code scan, and it didn't work on a last click CPA. So what we actually did was we used our analytics and we looked at how much assistance they had to sales that were eventually made. So when we saw how much we were going to pay them at the end, we said, that's not fair. We don't want to pay them that. So we kind of explained the situation to them, went back, looked at the data that we had, and then came up with a figure that we thought was more reasonable. So yeah, we're really just in the learning stage at the moment. And I think what's key for us is just being really open and explaining this is where we would like to get to. How do we get there? Kind of over the next couple of campaigns that we do together.
Nice. Good communication. Anything you want to add to that, Sophie?
Yeah, I think the learning that both Hannah and Madara have alluded to is key. So regardless of the partner type, and I kind of feel that the fundamentals don't differ too wildly from partners that we exist on call traditional partners versus non-traditional partners. But what we shouldn't do because of that is apply a rigid model and try and force it on one particular segment to any group of partners, be that new or otherwise. So I think just when we're approaching any new segment or any new way of working, and we're also doing a test with influencers at the moment that's being facilitated through Partnerize actually, just making sure that we're clear on what both parties want to get out of it. So what are our objectives for this specific campaign? From an advertiser perspective, being clear on the customers we're trying to reach. And from a partner perspective, is that advertiser right for my audience? And then together, have we got the right tools and solutions to make this campaign a success? And beyond the test itself, then taking stock, understanding what worked, what were some of the barriers, how can we optimize going forward, and just being open to that test and learn way of working, I guess, and iterating accordingly.
Nice, good stuff. Cool. Okay, so I think one of the things that I know I've had a lot of conversations with on the brands that I look after here at Partnerize, but it's around brand-to-brand partnerships. So have you guys considered or approached any other brands to initiate any brand partnerships? And if so, have you found success or struggles initiating these relationships? So I'm going to actually forward that one to Madara.
Yes, brand-friend partnerships now is our big focus, and in the last 2 years we have been, built a team who are solely looking to running these kind of campaigns, and we have already partnered up with big brands like McDonald's, H&M, Mentos, Amex, Ocado, Lidl, and so on, to name a few. The biggest struggle is to initiate the conversation with the right person in the company, or to find the right agency who will be doing the reciprocal marketing. But once we're there, then the real creativity can start, and that's why I really like this channel, because it's not as kind of rigid as affiliate channel. It allows us to kind of put two brands together and get something bigger out of it. So that is really cool area for us.
I think I would completely agree. It can be a bit of a challenge finding the right person, but once you do, you don't know what that partnership's going to look like. You don't know what's going to be on offer until you start having those conversations. So I think it's so interesting. So yeah, definitely recommend anyone who hasn't started that to have a look. Yes, very interesting. So moving on, I think when you look at your organization, how does it perceive partnership? So is there a challenge to display incremental revenue? Is that something that you guys have to deal with? So Hannah, I'm going to pass that one over to you.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So again, I feel like I keep saying the same thing over and over again, but we're a very young company. We are really just finding our feet at the moment. So when I joined the business, it was very much with the objective of we would be running loads of partnerships. They would be really successful on a last click CPA. And we just have found that that's not the case, that every partnership is different. Every partnership has its own kind of performance and its own value. So yeah, really just, like I said, being really open about our objectives and that we are learning. We want these to be mutually beneficial. We don't want to have a partnership be a one-off either. We want the partnerships that we build to either be consistent and long-term, or ones that we can kind of pick up over time. So I think, yeah, just reporting that back internally and explaining, this didn't perform on a CPA, but actually here's the value, and kind of using all the data that we have available, including brand recognition data to prove the value of what we're doing.
I think that's one of the benefits of affiliates in general, though, isn't it? Like, it is so easy to display the value, or whether it did work or didn't work, because it is, and overall it's a relatively cost-effective channel. So yeah, that's nice. That's good to hear. So how else do you guys prove return on investment outside of just revenue? Madara, any trade secrets from SmartBucks?
Yeah, so we track it in very different ways. So revenue is the first one, but we closely monitor also the traffic, reach, a new customer generation, average order value, discount levels, like any metric that you can pick, like you can build the partnership around. And also something very important to kind of remember here is that with the new partners and new partnerships, whether it's affiliate or a brand, we always take a kind of long lead approach, because we know that at the very beginning the ROI might not be positive, but if as long as we understand what the partner is driving and we can see that progressing, then we kind of give them a minute to prove the value and improve and optimize the activity in the process of it.
Nice, good insight. Cool. Okay. And Hannah, I'm going to ask you the next one. So tell me / the audience something unique about your program, or what you're trying to accomplish.
Well, as far as I'm aware, we are the only merchant doing what we do who's really active in the affiliate space. So that's,
very unique.
Yeah,
like literally unique.
Yeah. I feel like I don't want to talk about it too much, because I feel like we do have competitors, and they can't be that far behind us. So I am closely looking out for them. But also we pay our CPA based on our lifetime revenue. So our CPA is actually much higher than our first average order value, which I feel is helping us kind of, to work with the new partners, having that really attractive CPA.
Nice. Thank you very much. And moving on, how do you educate and promote partnership within your organization? So Sophie, I'm going to flip that one to you.
Yeah, quite an easier question to answer, I think. Partnerships are so fundamental to our business. So without our supply partners, we wouldn't have a product to take to market. We wouldn't have a product for our partners to market in this space. So Expedia Group's brands, we're about helping travellers to find the right trip for them, but Expedia Group is fundamentally a tech company. So in terms of partnerships, we connect our supply partners with these travellers, but we're also working to empower other partners to build their own successful businesses through leveraging our data, our tools and technologies. And as I've just touched on as well, we've got both B2B and B2C arms to our partnerships business. And in terms of the organisation that I work in, so we talk about affiliates, we know it as retail partnerships. We're very focused on ensuring that our solutions are best in market for our partners. And within the organisation over the past year, we've got these cross-functional squads by market that I've mentioned, which have been a key way for us to educate about our own channel to our colleagues across the wider business and how we can best partner with them to deliver more value.
Nice, thank you. So the next couple of questions are going to be based around technology. And I think the forefront of everyone's mind when you talk about the actual tech itself is around mobile and usability. So I think I'm going to flip this one to Madara. How are you guys using mobile at Smartbox?
So yeah, a few years ago, mobile traffic exceeded our desktop, and then, since then we have optimized our website for mobile first. Currently, our mobile accounts for 70% of visits and 65% of orders. That's why we always make sure that when we run, let's say, affiliate campaigns, then we optimize the messaging and the customer journey for quick and easy conversion, because as we know, affiliate channel kind of joins at the very late stages of customer funnel, purchase funnel, and that's why it needs to happen quick and easy. So optimization is the key, and also choosing the right message.
Nice, interesting to hear that you are mobile first now. The world is catching up with us for sure. And next question, I'm going to direct to you, Hannah. So what other technology are you guys using at Newman to support your partner efforts, if any?
Yeah, so I think we are very mobile focused. I think there's the way that people or men generally engage with our website is on their phones. It's quite private. They don't really want people to see on their screens. We don't have an app at the moment. It's something that we do talk about, but I feel like it's not necessarily as discreet to have a Newman app on your phone as it is to go on the mobile web. So we're really focusing on just having the best mobile web experience at the moment.
That's really cool. That's interesting to hear. And finally, what metrics are important when choosing which partners you work with? So what do you look at to evaluate a partner or a new partnership campaign? Sophie, anything from you on the Expedia front?
Yeah, so we use financial metrics that you probably expect. So we typically forecast based on potential traffic volumes, conversion rates, and then translate that into a bottom line forecast. So looking at the profit margin and the spend. And obviously where we've got brands such as Expedia, that's a multi-line of business product. So those margins differ by product. So we have to weigh that in as well. Other items that we look at as well beyond those core financial KPIs would be the new and existing customer mix that a particular partner drives or might be likely to drive, as well as their repeat behaviour. And that's when we start to look at the lifetime value. And also important to us is the customer's engagement with our brand loyalty programs, some of which are well established. And then beyond that, we want to understand the audience of the partner, ensure there's crossover with our own target customers per brand, and consider some of those more strategic factors as well. And as we mentioned earlier, increasingly we're looking at the partner's own values and whether they align to the values of Expedia Group, so that we can partner on that basis as well.
Nice, seems like a pretty solid model. Cool, and now I think we're going to move on to more of an international omni-team growth focus. So my next couple of questions are going to be around that. How does your team fit into the wider organizational goals? So how do you go about structuring a partnerships team? What are the resources you should have in place? And I think naturally, with Expedia being such a huge global company, I'm going to go to you first, Sophie.
Yeah, so for a while last year, we've been drilling into the individual brand processes, our individual brand value props and strategies within the partnership space. And actually towards the end of 2020, we brought several of our brands together. So brand Expedia, hotels.com, Verbo, sorry about the background noise, it's a working from home challenge on a main road. But we brought several of those brands together into one team. Previously, we'd had partnerships teams per brand. So what it means by bringing all those partnerships teams together and under one leader means we've gained more experience and knowledge that we can share across our new larger team. And we've also had the opportunity to create new supportive functions within this. So the team that I'm in, for example, is a new team as part of this restructure to support partnership enablement and strategy. So as I mentioned in the introduction, our team is focused on strategic initiatives that guide the direction of the partnerships team and ensures that we can implement a global strategy that we can continually measure. So whereas that had been done by individuals before. So our commercial teams can use global principles and layer on their local expertise to make it relevant to the region they work in. I should mention as well that our team is global. We're across multiple geographies. With these new support teams as well, we can also assess without having a regional bias what solutions can drive most value for our partners. So we've also established an operations team who are being amazing actually in supporting some of the more operational requirements that we have. And ultimately freeing up time for our partner managers to invest into relationships and conversations with our partners.
It sounds like there's some really strategic changes that are probably going to be here to stay. So that's great.
Hope so.
Fingers crossed. Cool. So next question: how do you work cross-functionally with other marketing teams, regions, or departments? So Madara, I'm gonna throw that one your way. Yeah, it'd be great to hear from a SmartBox perspective.
Yeah, so we do try to create omni-channel approach with every campaign. So we closely talk to our marketing experts in other channels. The good thing is that we have a very strong team of 60 in-house marketing experts, and that allows us to have those conversations very quickly. And so the main purpose is to kind of create seamless customer journey and unite all the messaging. And also once the acquisition channels have done their work to drive the customer to the website, we pass them on to the right place and on a really well optimized website for conversion. And it's also important to work together with other departments to understand maybe what issues customers are facing and to incorporate that into your marketing message.
That's really interesting to kind of be reactive as well from the experience side of things. That's great. Great. Okay, moving on. How does your affiliate program support other areas of the marketing mix? So being one of the more adaptable and responsive channels, does it allow you to test consumer behavior? Hannah, I'm going to throw that one your way.
So we actually only launched our affiliate program back in February. So yeah, we're definitely not at the testing stage yet. We're definitely very much in the establishing stage. But as a business, we run a lot of tests through CRM and paid search. So that's definitely the objective to get there, but we are not there yet.
No worries. I mean, you're definitely on the way. It sounds that way anyway. Madara, anything you wanted to add to that?
Yes, so as I said, we already work with the other marketing channels together very closely. But another focus that I put emphasis on is to continuously work with the publishers to develop these direct relationships, because those will open a lot of doors to new and exciting opportunities. And we are, because of those direct relationships, we are able to provide very quick turnaround on ideas and campaigns. Within hours, we can sign off all the creatives and commercials, and we have the power in our own hands to choose the direction to go to.
Nice, good stuff. And from the last one on the sort of international omni-team growth section, how do you manage your local partnerships alongside the global vision for growth? So Sophie, I'm going to throw that one to you.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we're a global team, so our commercial team, so our partner managers are specific to particular regions, usually singular markets as well. So they understand the local nuances. They're in market to meet with those partners and have the relationships, and they know their market best, which over the past 12 months has been more important than ever. So in terms of the global vision, that sits for our partnerships team, at least with my team. So we're looking at setting a global strategy that ladders up into the overall business strategy, and ensure that our ways of working and our solutions and operations are optimized to deliver most value for our business and our partners. But allowing that flexibility for the teams on the ground, so to speak, means that they've got room to layer on that local expertise, and I think that's really crucial that they do so to bring those strategies to life.
Nice, thank you very much. So I'm gonna now focus on some questions that are going to be looking ahead, so more of a future focus. How do you think partnerships and performance marketing will evolve in the next few years? Hannah, I'm going to throw that one to you.
Well, I think, the last year has really pushed people to evolve their marketing as more than they've ever had to before. So I think as we go back, start seeing people more socially, I personally am really excited to do more experiential things. So I think partnerships in events will be huge kind of over the coming years. And then for performance marketing, I think, we've got constant challenges with the cookie, changing of cookies and all the tagging restrictions. Sorry, I'm losing the correct terminology at the moment. But I think, every time we're thrown one of those things, it just, it makes us stronger as marketers. We always find new solutions. So I like to think that people will take confidence from that. We, with the latest changes on Facebook, we've kind of been talking about that. It's like, what, this has happened so many times before. We will adjust, and I think people will kind of get to that point where they're not as terrified of these, potential catastrophic changes.
I know. I think we've all become a bit harder in the last 12 months, haven't we? No, that's a fantastic answer. Thanks for sharing that. The next question is, if you could give one piece of advice to a company looking to implement a partnership program, what would it be? So Madara, I'm going to chuck that one to you.
Yeah, it's interesting because I actually, in the last 9 years, I have built the whole partnerships channel from almost scratch. So I know how it is to start. But all I can say is start small to prove the value. Don't jump into it and escape after one unsuccessful campaign. And then also be curious and take a minute to analyze the data, because the data will show you where the best incrementality or best return on your investment is. And I also highly recommend using affiliate networks and well-established platforms like Partnerize to kind of utilize all the tools and capabilities that they offer in terms of communicating with the affiliates, tracking the performance, analyzing the results, and also to maybe introduce to start building these relationships with the partners through the platforms and networks.
Nice, very, very good advice. And finally, we've unfortunately run out of time, but last question. What is your advice to the partners in the audience who are looking to work with you and your brand? So Sophie, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, I think just being very open and transparent and keen to test. So sometimes there's a little bit of a fear around testing, but it's only through testing, I think, that we can learn what works for that particular partnership and optimize it for the better. Equally, we might find that what doesn't work, and that means that we can look to focus efforts on finding something that does. So I think an openness to this means that we've got a better chance of proving the value of a particular partnership and ensuring that both parties have the best tools at their disposal to make it work.
Nice, thank you. Hannah, anything to add to that?
Well, I'd say specific to Newman, I'd say just be open-minded. We are not a brand that initially appeals to everyone, but we do genuinely have something for everyone. So yeah, I think, when it comes to us, be open-minded. We are open to pretty much anything.
You've got that niche element, that's nice. Madara, finally, anything from you?
My only advice is please reach out. I have millions of ideas and I need a lot of partners to execute them. And we currently are in the best place to offer like quite interesting and exciting products within the partnerships, because obviously we're an experience gift company. So it's good to partner up with us. So please reach out.
Fantastic, wonderful. So I just want to say a massive thank you to our panelists for joining. We appreciate you sharing your experiences and insights with us today. And thank you so much to our audience for watching. Stay tuned for more great sessions coming up.